Technically, Windows operating system is the first software to be introduced into a new computer. Basically, when you acquire a new computer, the only information inside that computer which was stored by the manufacturers in the DOS environment. This information of the manufacturers explains the configuration of the computer and its manufacturer. The last point of the information is the DOS prompt, which shows the C or the root directory, the C column or the C drive. It is from this point that you can now introduce the Windows operating system. Now, how do you get a Windows operating system? You just walk into any Windows operating shop, any shop where they sell softwares, walk into that place, and anywhere they sell computer accessories, you go into that place, tell them the kind of Windows you want. You can range from any version of Windows, but the most recent ones, the most three recent ones are the Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and Windows 2010, which is Windows 10. And so then once you tell them the one you want, then you can kickstart immediately. So this is basically how you work with Windows. This is how you can get Windows. Mind you, we have other versions of Windows before now. Initially, we used to have Windows. It was introduced in version labeled 3.0. Later, other versions like 3.1, 6.0, 95, 97, 98, 2000, Millennium, NT, XT, and the most. We have also what we call Windows Vista. We have Windows 2007, which is Windows 7. We have Windows 8. We have Windows 8.1, and we have Windows. Now, there are what we call the terminologies. But before we go there, let's first of all know what the advantages of Windows are. The advantages of Windows is that one of it is a multitasking system. Multitasking means it can do more than one operations at the same time by a single person. Another thing is it allows graphic display. You can display graphics, you can display pictures, you can display any kind of thing, you can do all sorts of things like this. These are because it displays graphic, it allows graphic display. It supports multimedia like sound, movie, and animation. You can use it to watch a movie, you can use it to play a song, or music of your choice, you can use it to get animations of all sorts, like the one where you do in some application packages which supports animation. Now, another thing you should understand is that it is convenient and reliable. It is convenient and reliable in the sense that when you are working with it, being that you are seeing the images, the pictures, you are comfortable. Unlike the DOS environment where you either see only the black screen or the blue screen without anything. You can't right click on the DOS environment, but all these things are made possible. Now, it reduces rigorous operations and allow automatic upgrade and update. Rigorous operations like all those tedious operations that you can do, like in DOS, you must have to take note of all the commands, all the command lines, and you must follow the instructions, the principles, the rules and regulations. But here you can just right click to get some things done. You can just maneuver with your windows and do what you want to do and achieve same aim. Now we have also the terminologies, what we can call the basic terms and activities, one of which is what we call the desktop. Now the desktop, as we all know, is the first display you see once you load your computer and your computer comes up. The first thing that displays is the desktop. Then we have the start button. This is exactly the start button, and the start button displays the start menu. We have the shortcut menus. Shortcut menus are all these menus that appear when you right click on either the desktop, the taskbar, or icons. Those things are called the shortcut menus. We also have the taskbar. The taskbar is also located on within the desktop, which it can either be to the left, to the right, up, or bottom, but I choose to keep my own at the top because that is where it is more convenient for me to work comfortably with it. So how do we even start Windows, or how do we start working with Windows? Now, the first thing you have to do is to put on your computer. You go through the start button, through the on and off button on your system. You press the on and off button. Then the booting process will commence by displaying the name of the manufacturer of the computer. Example, there are many manufacturers we have, so depending on the one you're working with and the one you best like. Thereafter, it will load the Windows operating system. This loading process will arrive at a platform called a desktop, which we have briefly explained that, but we'll go in detail soon. The starting point of DOS is the DOS prompt, while that of Windows is the desktop. The desktop is made up of 3 main components, and this main components we have is the desktop wallpaper. This now is the wallpaper, what you're seeing here, like this thing that has a window. This picture that is showing a window like stuff is called the wallpaper. They'll have the desktop icons. The desktop icons, I just made it hidden so you can come here and see all the desktop icon. These things are called the desktop icon. So then another thing is we have the taskbar, which I've showed you earlier on. These are the things that makes up the Windows interface. Now another question you should ask yourself: how to use the mouse. There are different ways you can use the mouse in Windows. In Windows, you can handle the mouse in any way you want, but you should know that the mouse is a handheld device used for instructing the computer to do what you want it to do, and it is made up of 2 main buttons, while the left and the right. The left is normally used to select an item, but when you say left clicking or clicking, means pressing the left button of the mouse. But on the other hand, when you talk about the right clicking, you press the right clicking to display an option for what you want to execute. Then you can double click. Double click mainly is to execute directly by tapping the left button twice without delay. You can just tap it double. It will give you what you want. How can we open an icon? We have about 3 methods through which you can open an icon. One of the method is by right clicking on the icon you want. A box will appear. Let's just go ahead and display some icons we have here. Now that we have these icons here, so the first option you can do is right click on it. When you right click on it, you will now, this box will appear. Once the box appears, in the box that appears, click on open. It will open it. Now another way you can do it is to place the mouse pointer on top of the icon, let's say I want to open a particular icon. Which of them should we open? Okay, let's say this. Yep, that's just a zip file. So let's say I want to open this. You can just double click on it. You can just click on it and press your return key, and it will display the content of it. Now, another way you can do is by double clicking on it. By double clicking means you just move your mouse on that and double click on it. Once you double click on it, it will display what you want. So that is another way of doing that. So now we have what we call the Windows box. And what is the Windows box? You can call something like this a Windows box, for instance. Maybe let's say this, we'll call something like this a Windows box. Now in this Windows box we have the title bar. Let's bring this down. We have the title bar. Here the title bar bears the name this PC. That is the title bar because it bears the name of whatever you open. That is why it is called the title bar, and the title bar can be found in all applications ranging from Microsoft applications to Adobe to Corel applications. Now also we have the minimize, maximize and the close button. The minimize is to bring it back down. Then the maximize is, by adventure, it is smaller like this. You use it to maximize it, and if it is bigger you use it to reduce it, but not bringing it down totally. While the X here indicates to close. Once you click on it, it automatically it gets closed. So that is how you work with the window box. Now another important thing to note is how you can actually show or hide icons on the desktop. Already you know that the icons on the desktop is not showing. So if it is not showing, you now want to display it. What you do is you come to the desktop, right click on the desktop, right click on the right button of your mouse, then you click on point to the view and click show desktop icons, and the desktop icon will show automatically. You can also go the same way and use the hide Windows option, the desktop option icons. There are other things you can manipulate there. For instance, other things you can manipulate using that places. You can go through the view, say I want my icons to be large. You see the icons becomes large. You can still go back there and say I want it to be medium, it will become medium. Or you go back there and say I want it to be small, which is the best one I love using, and it will be smaller. So you can also choose to automatically arrange so that each time you place an icon, it will automatically be arranged either in alphabetic order or the order you specify. But if you don't want it to do that, you can deselect it, and when you deselect this, it means your icons can be anywhere, scattered on the desktop anywhere, because you deselected auto arranging of it. Now but if you go there now and say view, and now you click on auto arrange, it brings them back to the way they should be. Then you can align to grid, or you make it anyhow. Like here you see it, they are aligned in a grid likewise. See, it's tabular form because when on the process we made it align to grid, but here now it's not selected. But before now, any other object any other icon I insert here will not maintain a straight line. It will be disorganized. So these are the ways through which you can work with your desktop icons.